China and Taiwan are on the brink of war after a long-standing dispute over the island's sovereignty came to a head, with potentially massive implications for consumer technology supplies. Taiwan is home to the world's biggest producer of computer chips, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC. TSMC's chips are used in a wide variety of phones, including the iPhone 13. Cars including the Renault Arcana SUV, gaming consoles including the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5, and smart home devices including the RevCook smart toaster. Rising tensions between China and Taiwan could disrupt the production of these chips, with knock-on effects throughout the global consumer electronics industry. TSMC's chairman has warned that a Chinese military force or invasion would make the firm's facilities inoperable, because it relies on real-time connection with Europe, with Japan and the US. Experts have told Mail Online that, if TSMC is unable to produce chips at its current rate, it could affect availability of some popular tech devices as soon as Christmas, although the biggest effects are likely to be felt next year. Founded in 1987, TSMC, the most valuable company in Asia and the 10th most valuable company in the world, develops chips for a range of huge players. TSMC has semiconductor fabrication plants, fabs, around the island, although its main operations are located in Hsinchu in the north. According to the company's website, TSMC produces more than 10,000 products for almost 500 clients worldwide. Its biggest client is Apple, but other clients include AMD, MediaTek, Qualcomm, Broadcom, Nvidia and Marvell. The firm makes A-series chips that go into iPhones and iPads, as well as M-series chips for Apple's Silicon Macs. TSMC chips are also in cars and gaming consoles, including Nintendo's Switch and Sony's PlayStation 5. Ben Barringer, equity research analyst at Quilter Cheviot, told Mail Online that China would likely aim to preserve TSMC and the brain power behind it if it took control of the island, in order to gain an advantage over US and Korean-based semiconductor manufacturers. Given its market position, the expertise it has and the complexity of the sector, TSMC is likely to remain of strategic importance to whoever governs Taiwan both now and in the future, Barringer said. However, there could be non-combat interventions from China such as potential blockades, he suggested. While this would not prevent TSMC from operating, it would limit what it could achieve and potentially delay any technological advancements, he said. Clearly the threat of war in Taiwan would be very troubling for those involved, and we can hope any tensions can be resolved diplomatically. Barringer also said that delays and shortages in consumer products would most likely occur next year, and that the new iPhone 14, expected to be released next month, will likely be safe because units will have already been built. The third quarter of the year is extremely important for the semiconductor industry, as this is when they produce the components that go into the products that will be bought and sold at Christmas. He told Mail Online, "If China were to invade imminently, then we may see some knock-on effect, but even at this point of the year any delays and shortages would most likely occur in 2023. Simon Thomas, CEO of British electronics company Paragraph, said consumers will experience longer waiting times and less choice for new products if geopolitical conflict were to escalate. As long as supply chain uncertainty continues, the impact on different product availability will become more widespread, he told Mail Online.